Thank you for tuning in to Ramble On, an extension on the Highland Rambler and of the Highland Media Association. Special thanks to our sponsors and listeners like you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Malia Hansen.
And this is Emma Johnson.
This is our podcast.
We will be talking about the history of the Utah Penitentiary.
Wahoo!
Okay, to start off, the penitentiary was built in 1853 by Brigham Young and the organization of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because Utah was not yet a state. The first inmates went into the prison in 1855. However, there were frequent escapes because of bad facilities and a lack of guards for the prison. In 1866, a renovation was required, and they added women's quarters, a hospital, and a dining hall. By 1882, there were 244 cells in the prison and a chapel. A 19-foot wall went around the prison and also enclosed 2 acres surrounding the actual building itself. For comparison, 2 acres is about the amount of land required for 8 houses in Salt Lake City, so it's really not that much land. Also, surrounding the wall, there was a large area for farming. Like, the inmates could farm grains and livestock for them to eat, so it was pretty self-sufficient.
Then in 1896, Utah became a state, and then World War II hit, and a lot of people started moving into Utah. So obviously the jail needed a lot more area to house more people, and they just started to expand and find the need to actually get a larger, better, more comprehensive, and more humanitarian facility. So then in 1951, they demolished the Utah Penitentiary that used to be at Sugarhouse Park, and they rebuilt it at the point of the mountain.
Wait, what about Highland? I thought that was like the old prison though.
So there are rumors that Highland used to be the building for the old Utah State Penitentiary, but that's not true. It's actually just that the school was built on the land that used to be occupied by the prison.
Wow.
So, yeah, when they tore down the building in 1951, about 30 acres of that land was sold to the Salt Lake City School District and just the city itself. So they used that to construct a new high school, which turned into Highland, and also the park that is Sugarhouse Park.
Sweet.
Yeah. So another fun fact is that Sugarhouse Park was actually supposed to be a pioneer village. Like,
What?
Yeah, the land actually was originally going to be used by the Sons of Utah Pioneers to construct like a museum and a little pioneer village for public like education and
So
stuff.
like Wheeler Farm, or This Is the Place?
I mean, I think that's sort of the idea. I can't really imagine Sugarhouse Park like that, but
I mean, I'd like that more than going to school. Just like farming all day, or hanging out.
Yeah, but now we have Highland and Sugarhouse Park.
Ah, yes. Thank you for making Highland. Alrighty, we've made it to the wall.
Right now we're standing at the top of a hill at Sugarhouse Park, and there's this big wall. It's about 5.5 feet tall and 12 feet wide with 2 equal sections and a 4-inch crack in the middle.
Yep, and just for background, it's made out of some pretty worn sandstone. Like, the rock on it is actually peeling and coming off in layers.
Yeah, just like chunks of sandstone stuck together by cement.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of weird mineral growths and moss on it, probably just from it being really old.
Yeah, this is part of the original wall from the penitentiary. We are guessing that it's like the outer wall, but we don't exactly know.
Yeah, and then it's got a couple plaques on it, one on each half of the wall. The one on the left is from the Sons of Utah Pioneers. It was dedicated in 1988. And same year, on the right side of the wall, there's a plaque from the Daughters of Utah Pioneers. But the site numbers are really weird. The Sons of Utah Pioneers, their site number is 17. And Daughters, it's site number 440. Even though they were dedicated in the exact same year for pretty much the exact same thing.
So we don't exactly know how you get plaques in the Utah system or whatever, and like if they're related at all, but we just think it's kind of strange that they were dedicated in the same year. They're similar. The plaques are basically of identical qualities, and the site numbers are different even though they are right next to each other. So we don't know what that means.
Yeah, just a little weird. Another weird thing, in the middle of the split between the walls, there's actually a pin, like a button that you would put on your backpack or something that's been pressed into the cement and cemented in there.
It's very rusty, so it seems like it's original.
Yeah, and it depicts, oh boy, time
a
to go
face.
into here. Yeah, it's a face, a young man,
Looks like a mugshot.
yeah, and the number is 7438 held up at the bottom. It's really kind of weird.
Yeah, so it looks like a prisoner number, like the prisoner picture and then his identification number. So we don't know why it's here or like what the significance of it is, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this vibe of the wall is just overall a creepy vibe. Kind of like a creepy I want to know more vibe, but also just like a creepy this used to be part of a jail and people were very unhappy vibes.
Yeah, like if you look at it or you think about it, it's about almost 170 years old, and there's just this wall in the middle of the park that has some information but not really a lot of information about it. Like, we really do just want to learn more about what the penitentiary was like.
Yeah, and now we're gonna start our little adventure to go find out more.
All right, well, our adventure has led us to, well, the northeast corner of the parking lot behind
The
Best
animal
Friends
shelter.
and Sugarhouse Coffee on a weird bump of,
Asphalt?
asphalt.
We've
Sweet.
just done some research, so
Yeah. We love technology. Anyways, we found out this really weird thing that, regarding the graveyard of the old penitentiary. So in 1957, like 6 years after they actually moved the prison to the point of the mountain, they finally decided to move all the dead bodies and graves.
there were 29 of them.
Yeah.
So
Well, out of the 29, they only identified 14 and only moved 14.
those 14 did get their nice 2 plots in the Salt Lake City Cemetery and like a little like recognition and stuff. However, that leaves 15 unaccounted for graves
that are somewhere in Sugarhouse Park.
So it says here,
Yeah, we found a pretty reliable website
the
giving us a lot of
yes.
history.
The cemetery at the old prison was located east of the old East Wall and down over a small hill near 15th East and 21st South.
Yeah, so 15th East and 21st South is like directly the entrance to Sugarhouse Park, right across from,
Like
oh my
Dunkin'
gosh,
Donuts.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's just
It's
the
right
main
there.
entrance, but that's down over a small hill near there. So
Yeah, and
that
there's a
could
lot
mean
of
a lot of
hills.
things.
So it's, yeah. Where do you think it is?
I feel like it could be meaning that it was down like the hill by the garden house. So like at the bottom, like sort of directly west of the Highland baseball fields. That area could possibly be it, but I don't know. What do you think?
Wait, if they were there, I'm gonna ignore your question for a second, sorry. But like, is that why the plants grow so well?
There are a lot of trees.
Yikes. Anyways, I think definitely over there. Also, the entirety of Sugarhouse Park is kind of like a bowl. So really, anywhere down the hill from the entrance is a really plausible area.
But it says a small hill. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You never know.
I'm not very good at judging hill sizes.
I don't know. All the hills in Sugarhouse Park are relatively small.
Yeah.
So they could mean any of
tiny
these
hill.
hills.
Or, yeah, true. Well, I just think it's a little vague. Like the record said, down and over the hill, you know?
Yeah, it's true that it's not recorded in very specific words, but I think they're still just trying to say that it's possible that there may be still 15 unidentified bodies from the penitentiary buried somewhere in Sugarhouse Park. No one knows. There's no way to know.
That's lovely. Anyways, aside from those cool stories about the dead, there's still some cool stories about the living.
Yeah, for more on electrocardiograms and ignoring Woodrow Wilson, stay tuned for the next episode of Sugarhouse Spooks.